Thank you so much for showing up tonight to our third Type Thursday event here in Phoenix. I know I talked to a lot of you, but raise your hands. Who's their first time at Type Thursday? Fantastic. Thank you so much. First time here at Dialog? Yeah, that's good. We're bringing the community together, so thank you so much. So, Type Thursday, for those who don't know, we are a meeting place for people who love letter forms. So typography, branding, UI, UX, whatever is related to typography, we want you to present. So I'm going to encourage that throughout the night to get people to get their courage up and present. So Type Thursday, we are actually global. In fact, our sister chapter in Los Angeles is having their event tonight. And so we are new to this, but there's actually a global chapter of people that love typography, love letter forms. Thomas Jopkin is the founder of Type Thursday. This started in Brooklyn, New York, just like this. And just got people together that wanted to talk about typography, making beautiful letter forms, and getting typographers together and learning this craft. Type Thursday Los Angeles is our sister chapter, and they're very instrumental in our growth. Thank you to Dialog. Chad, where's Chad? Thank you so much. Dialog has been super, super supportive, and again, our success is definitely because of this great facility and Chad. Thank you so much to everybody here. Thank you also to Corey. Corey is the AIGA president, AIGA Arizona president. They actually have an event. We're actually competing against them. But we would have been there had it not been for tonight. He has some great books over here called Resketch, and they repurpose old papers and put together these really great books. So definitely check them out. Corey's been very, very instrumental in our success as well. Our creative partners, Mondragon Design, Theory 93, that is our dialogue lead, and AIGA Arizona, and we, again, we really appreciate all of their support. Phoenix Design Week is in September, and please use this to get in there. So I wanted to explain that a little bit because there's been a little confusion. So September 19th and 20th, they'll actually have it down at the Phoenix Phoenix Convention Center. Okay, so Friday, Saturday, but there's events going the whole week. So they're in satellite places as well. So definitely get this, the Labor Day flash sale, get 25% off. Also, if you're an artist, you have until September 1st to get registered and actually have your booth there if that's something that you would like to do. And these are the community events I was just talking about. So 19th through 26th, they'll actually be promoting them, different events around the city, all part of Phoenix Design Week. And I can finally say this, I've been sitting on this for quite a while. We will be a part of Phoenix Design Week as well. Yes. I've been waiting so long, but it's finally going to happen. It's going to be right here on September 25th, and I want you to be here to help us celebrate Phoenix Design Week. So thank you. This is our Type Thursday Phoenix team. I am the chapter lead. My name is Michael Mondragon. Mike Scott is our dialogue lead. Mernal, where's Mernal? Hi. Thank you. She's our welcome lead. Phil Banmore is our photo lead. We actually have an editorial lead that would help me with all of our social media. If anybody would like to help us out and with that, please get in touch with me after the event. Anthony could not be here tonight. He's our volunteer CNA. There she is. Thank you so much for volunteering and helping making this all happen. Again, we're looking for volunteers, an editorial lead, and also presenters. So the presenters, you'll see how it all goes. It's not scary. It's scary beforehand, but it's not scary up here because we're very encouraging. So this is the type crit format. So we we have 5 minutes. I'm not going to hold you to 5 minutes. But the presenter will give a work in progress related to typography. And then there's 10 minutes of dialogue or discussion. Again, I'm sure that's going to run over. But this is the format that we like to stick to just to keep conversation going. So we have Casey Jones, we have Akili Greer, and I will be your third presenter. And I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a great night. So, Casey, are you ready?
Hi, I hope everybody's doing well tonight. My name is Casey, and I'm here to tell you about my personal typography project I've been working on recently. So, a little bit of background, I'm a recent grad from ASU, the Graphic Information Technology program over in Mesa campus, shout out to them. And in my last semester's school, I had a portfolio class where it was sort of about marketing yourself and creating your own brand and visual identity. So one of those projects was you had to create your own personal logo to go along with your visual identity. And the rules were very strict. It had to be just your name or your initials, no brand names you had already come up with or freelance monikers. It had to be just you. And like everything in life, I went off on a tangent, and eventually there was a typeface at the end of this. So the logo project had to do with, like I said, it was a personal branding exercise. So it had a lot to do with your personality and your values as a designer as well. So I have a little bit of some concepts I had here. My biggest value that I try to embody is this concept of audacity, sort of, trying to be very loud and passionate, and bring that passion and energy to everything that you see, even if you're up here presenting and you're scared shitless, you're still trying, so that's very important. So, and I thought this middle one was really the best encapsulation of that very sharp, passionate energy I try to bring to things. So you can see I have a lot of logo concepts here. I think we had to make like 40 or 50 thumbnails, but there's, you can see a lot of connecting factors here. I like when, shapes sort of come together to create other shapes or connecting with each other very well. So I was playing with that idea and also trying to fit my values into it as well. So you can see a little bit of the logo progressing here. I had these two logos that I liked, but I also had this sort of word mark that I was working with as well that I was sort of getting really attached to, aside from any more abstract logo. And I brought this one to my professor, and he said, "Is your name Kasich Junks?" So there became a crossbar in that E to help that a little bit. So as I moved along with this project, I was working more with that, the sharpness, the angularity, those that interlocking style, and also carrying this word mark along as well, because I was in love with it. So here's a little bit more process of sort of morphing this one. I forgot that there's a pointer here. Taking these more chaotic, very undefined, not very boxed in letters, and creating, harmonizing the angles of it and making it a little bit more standardized, but still not afraid to be very sharp and break the rules a little bit. So I came up with this logo, but also had this typeface in here as well. And I thought, well, that's just my name, and I like what's going on here, so why don't we just extrapolate this into a whole typeface? So as I was going into this, I looked more back into what had inspired me. Oh, I lost my pointer. the way that I write actual letters, the handwriting is very sharp and angular. I don't like to take my pencil off the page. So you can see a lot of retraced lines. So I tried to keep that angularity and take some of those softer shapes and bring those angles and sharpness into it. And also, as I said, I like when some shapes become other shapes. So I took the O and the E from my original logo and sort of took those and made a bunch of other letters with that, especially with that crossbar and the E. You can see it on the F and the Q. Just sort of creating shapes that are their own letters, but also, that harmonize with the rest of the design. So I ended up with this whole alphabet, a couple letters I was unsure about, and then these numbers and some punctuation. And I started using that on, some of the projects that I was doing in that portfolio class. And there's something just not right about this. Can you tell what it is? It's the 5. The 5 is backwards. I worked on this typeface, worked with this typeface for 2 weeks and didn't realize the 5 was backwards. So it's very important to have things like this outside help that will tell you when you're missing something big like that. So I had a lot of other things I needed to consider, like this little cut motif I had in a lot of spots, how to translate that to more rigid letters. Especially this G gave me gave me a really hard time because I really liked this very simple abstract G, but I wondered if you can't tell what that is. So I tried doing some other things, but I felt like it broke the system I was working with, so I ended up just staying with this G. And then I had a very interesting time doing all of the S and 5 and the Z and the 2, trying to make them fit into that style, but also giving them their own spunk and personality without being, basically sort of like 7-segment display. Was it 8 segments? I can never remember. 7 segments, okay. So I had all that bouncing around in my head, but I decided, hey, why don't we move on to making this a real font that you can type with. So I went into a free program called Glypher Studio. I had never worked with it before, but I just started pressing buttons and playing with things. And I thought, oh, there's an SVG import button right there. I'll just put all my letters in right away since they're from Illustrator. Well, it turns out when you do that, you get a teeny tiny little A. This little dot right there. And so I had to sort of learn how to work with the program on the fly as I was sort of still considering a lot of the letters. And a very interesting thing that you do with Glypher Studio is looking, you can see a lot of the glyphs you worked with before versus the one you're working on and see how they play with each other. And so I took all of that and extrapolated it out into all of these glyphs you see here. Some other considerations I had to make, I was typing just random things with this font, and what I first got was up here where the A and the Y are really far apart, and that looks terrible. So I learned about adjusting the kerning for specific letters, and thinking of, I had a huge spreadsheet of every single letter combination I could possibly think of to make sure that everything was working with that interlocking, feeling of everything clicking together that I wanted to convey with this. But we got there in the end, and this is an example of just that classic lorem ipsum type of all of it together. Definitely not really great for body copy, but I like it a lot as display type. And then here's all of the glyphs that I came up with. I also had a lot of fun doing ligatures, where the A and the W fit nicely together if you use those. And a little bonus Easter egg, since my logo is made out of the typeface, if you put the K and the J together, you get my logo. And I think that's really fun. So there's some things, I'm happy with it, but there's some things that I'm not so happy about. I would love to get some opinions. Again, the typeface is called Audacity. The questions that I would have are, would you use this font? Where would you see yourself using this font? And are there any things that you think are maybe too abstract and would need to be, I don't want to say dumbed down, but put into a more usable form for other people than just myself. And anything else you might see that I can call would be great. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Casey. Yeah, beautiful work, by the way. So, before I say anything, does anybody want to answer some of his questions he has about the work? You want to talk, Preston?
Yeah. I'm loquacious. Okay, first of all, great work. I don't know where you fit this in with the rest of your coursework because there's no class on type design.
It was a tangent, definitely.
Yeah, appreciate that. I think I hate to give you more homework, but it's right there.
No, it's right there, it's fine.
I think you should make just keeping it with the capitals, forget the lowercase, because that's a whole bag of worms for the can of worms, for the all the kerning pairs, like you said.
Yeah.
But even with the capitals, you can do a stylistic set that is like the positive, and then you do another stylistic set that's the negative slope, and that way, when you type words, they'll look much more uniform if they're all going in the same direction. And so maybe, it might look italic, but maybe that's a third set where they're sort of upright. So, we see B, C, D, E, F, they're kind of not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then when you get to I, J, they're like, and when you M and N, they're, and then V and W going the other way.
Yeah.
So you could unify that with two stylistic sets. And in most of the cases, I think you might just literally flip them horizontally, so you don't really have to redraw them. Some you might, like the R. I don't know how you would make the R going but that's your homework. But also, real quick, can you flip back to where you had basically this 3 evolutions of it? Like it was, keep going. There we go.
Yeah.
Or is it one previously? No, the other way. No, that was it. I'm sorry. Okay. So in the bottom in the middle, my first thought was, what if Blade Runner came out of the Soviet Union? And I don't know what to do with that, but I'm handing it over to you.
Okay, I had so many problems with that because I learned in making typefaces that a lot of maybe bad institutions have very annoyingly interesting shapes and forms. Because originally I had this and I was in love with the S's. And I'm like, that's a Nazi symbol, I can't use that. And it was the SS logo, I can't use it. So just fighting with that was another very interesting challenge during this project. So I'm very happy that you brought that up.
Okay, great work, first of all. I, especially on this, or no, I'm sorry, the next slide. Yeah, oh my gosh. The way that your letters interact with each other and make unexpected shapes, like the way the E and the S makes a perfect triangle, I think that is just so exciting, and yeah, I think we lean into that. I think it would make it really special. I also really loved how I think on your last slide, on the accent across the top, the way the I fits in the T and it makes it look like a geometric 3D shape. I think that is just the most beautiful part of your font is the way the shapes interact with each other and make the shapes. So, awesome work. I think that's cool.
Thank you. That was exactly what I was going for, so it's good. Great.
I actually appreciate your work a lot because I can see the evolution from the first logo and now how have you ended up in the final one. And I agree with Prescott as well that there should be we are a bit confused that which angle it is. It's W goes the other way around, the Y goes a different way. But yeah, we will definitely work on it, and I really like the efforts you have put in for creating the whole font. I just have one maybe suggestion that right now it's in alphabetical order, that is A, B, C, D. Yeah. So I can differentiate between the O and the Q. But if it's just a word which is starting from or like using just one of the letters, I have to then like look forward keenly that it's Q or O. So maybe you can just work on the specific horizontal line in between Q, which will be easier for the people who are looking forward to read it.
Just making it a little bit
Yeah,
more
maybe
obvious.
it can be a bit bolder or something which you can come up with it for this show.
Oh, thank you. That's a very good
Thank you
accessible.
so much.
Yeah.
Hi Casey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
I just want to go ahead and let you know that I did not want to miss this, so I was actually speeding from Deer Valley to make it here on time for this. So thank you for this. This looks great. My thing is, if you were to make it smaller, this looks great in like larger prints, but if you were to make it in a smaller print, how would it look? My specific here is the A. Since it's so small and the spacing, it looks good on there, but if you were to make it smaller or if someone wanted to make it even, I don't know, for me, I kind of mess with typography a lot. If I were to just put it down to like this is a 18, 20, you wouldn't suggest that, but I'm kind of crazy and I would do that. First of all, I like the kind of I like how it looks very rockerish. Growing up in Southern California, this is something I would gravitate towards, especially when Tilly's, Zoomies. This is super fun, super creative. I know you did say something about the 5 or the S kind of looking like a 5. I'm not going to judge you on that because I literally have a tattoo with the S as a 5, and I'm just like, life's too short. Why don't we just do that? So I think it's a really cool idea. If we can kind of just like work with the lettering a little bit, because I understand with the whole kerning and everything, it does look a little bit, I don't want to say messy, but unorganized if you were to put it together. But other than that, I think it is pretty cool, and I like how it is very symmetrical and it represents a lot. It has like a lot of hard edges. But I feel like a lot of this stuff is a lot thicker at some points than other letters, and that's my fear. But other than that, great job.
Thank you. And that brings up a really interesting point, because if people did want to use it in smaller type, I could definitely create like a thinner version of this.
I just want to say one thing, Casey. So I love this font. I think I'm at it from an angle and decided to just come in and see closer. So yeah, so your downstrokes are all really thick, right? And your cross strokes are all a lot thinner. And everything's very angular and structural. I love that because now you have all these opportunities to create all these changes to the font. Like the A, what Jacob was saying, gets a little small when you make it smaller, right? But if you flip it, like go back a couple slides, right there, one more. I read where before I read aware. So if you just flip that A, like an option just to flip that triangle the other way, you know, just those little things, maybe even bring that point, just bring that point up above that W a little bit, get out of that space, you know, and just play with the structure. You have so much opportunity because you built it very structurally to just like break it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to break it, you know. It was super fun. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Okay, I think we're good. That was beautiful, Casey.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for the question. Typography has a rhythm. So once you create that rhythm, then you can start breaking stuff and taking it away and still have the letter form. So outstanding. Our next presenter is Akili. I wanted Akili to be the presenter last time, but we were lucky enough to have him this time. Come on up, Akili Greer.
Hey, everybody. Hey. All right. Well, before I start, give a little background on myself. Yes, Micah did reach out to me for the previous month. Fortunately, I was just starting a new job with Hack Club, so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it like that. Like I'm gonna be slammed. I'm learning a lot of new stuff, so I'm gonna have to give me some grace this time. But I definitely told him, reach back out. I can definitely try to get in there next month. So, Type Thursday. Initially, with the approach going into this, I was like, I don't have any like immediate work in progress. I'm like, do I have a font that I'm working on? Is there anything that I can kind of display? So I'm like, I can find something. Like I have a font, but it is a variation. It isn't a completely new typeface, but it is a variation. So we'll talk about it. Wait. Take it.
Most don't work with Figma. It worked earlier. It worked with Figma slides. It must have been an update because there's Figma slides. It's like forums. They're like guys. How do you want your presentation product without right there? Like, well, that's a less feature.
Yeah, I got a little bit of an intro. Been designing 10 plus years. I say professionally, 6 because that's when I officially feel like I've gotten like my entry into like agency. I am a self-taught pro, so definitely school of figure shit out. YouTube University for sure. But if you guys want to learn a little bit more about me, definitely check out the QR code. Again, I'm a graphic designer with Hack Club, but I started freelancing. I got my own little design brand that kind of go by. It's this design company. You guys ever want to check out a little bit of my work, QR code, that kind of give you an idea where my career path is kind of taking me thus far. Alright, so that'll bring us into our discussion. The Prophet Future once said, "Take down Meg Thee Stallion and spell group type shit." That's some big shit. I just thought you knew type shit. What is the importance of the future, and what does it have to do with typography? And that phrase, absolutely nothing. It's just what came to me, came to my heart, as soon as we were registering for Type Thursdays. The colloquial phrase itself, type shit, is just to explain a situation or a given scenario. And so, today we're going to focus on Anton Groove. That's my variation on, or I like to call it Anton. I think that's how you pronounce it, Anton, which is some big shit. Just thought y'all should know. And so, the variation that I play with on Anton is based on this regular font. It's a cool sans serif. Obviously, it stacks well with any kind of like other working character font like Work Sans. Very good pairing. But I like to lean on it because sans serifs are very much, they're overlooked. I think we get to support them more. They're not as characterized as, a serif font, and they're used generally for utilitarian purposes, right? So I wanted to figure out how can I take Anton font and make it more characteristic driven, kind of bring it out to make it more maybe even a display font. And so I did some elongated characters, kind of curved the grotesque, that's what you call it. And I kind of slanted like some of the arm bars a bit, just to kind of make it my own. It is all caps. I didn't actually introduce it yet, the lowercase. So all the elements that you're going to see is just straight up cap fonts. And so the questions that I had is how can I enhance it further? If there are other ways that I can take it as far as weight, I definitely want to try to transition this font into more of a variable-based font. Something that I can do to kind of enhance those alternative characters as far as if I were to switch them out, are there things that I can do to the sans serif that would kind of elevate it a bit, kind of poke questions at all my type nerds and geeks and freaks out here to kind of help me figure out what I can do to make it a little bit different. This font is used largely with my RAM, so that way I can type the XXIST, and it just goes perfectly within the actual like typeface and the name of the RAM itself. And so that was my add-on for this one. So I'm keeping it really short and sweet. I thought I could kind of create this could be the conversation piece that we can all kind of piece by piece take in some of your conversations and questions and kind of help me elevate a bit. So.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody want to start? Press one.
Oh, let me take that.
Yeah, can you put the font back up there? Okay, sweet. All right.
Which letter forms did you alter?
So you can see some of them. It's like the A a bit. I flipped a lot of the characters got flipped and I elongated those counters. So you can tell that the B is kind of upside down. I did also the look on this one.
Oh, there we go.
You see like the B here, it's kind of elongated. I did add some curves a little bit to some of the characters just to kind of bring out some of those like those ink tracks to kind of give it a little more curve, a little more pop. I didn't want to go completely rounded. But I just wanted to kind of figure out how I could introduce a little more character to it. That's why you see the counters got like these peaks in some of them, so they like kind of taper off a little bit. So I didn't want to go too crazy.
I don't know if it's a screen, but it looks like are they tilted back a little bit from the top to the bottom? So it's like it's maybe straight down, they move back. Because that's kind of a cool look. I don't know if it's just a screen.
Like it's slanted out.
Like,
No, I think it might be the screen.
yeah. Because I'm like, that is a cool look. Like this kind of sound back to it drives back. Yeah.
So are you trying to give this more character, or are you trying to add to it, or something that's not there into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm also, I want to create a variable font if I could. I know there's software that can kind of just do it for you, but I know that it would probably be more ideal for me to kind of, but I still have to tweak it before I can do that. So that's why I kind of was messing around with some of the fonts, reducing some of those anchor points, because I know it can get a little weird when you try to transition into those kind of character types. So that's kind of the main purpose. I wanted to see if there's a way that I can do that, and if anybody's ever done it, if they, a little more educated about it than I am.
So I mean, especially in these, like I feel like the counters are good spots to make things out of. So like for instance, like your Q, like the way that Q is, like I feel like you could do that with other letters or just putting that little thing on the G, giving that this little flair, and then how your A is the crossbar is slanted. You could do that in the E's. You could do that in the H's. You could do, it's like just that, it's consistent, because again, it's just vertical. I mean, those are the little things that, kind of make a big difference, and then using the counter. So I think that if you're looking for that, that's probably the way to do it. But you also, go back to, I think it was a P that I saw. Yeah, okay, so, like, the P looks, just that bottom part of the counter on the right-hand side, now, is that intentional, or is it looks a little wider at the bottom?
Here, or right here?
Yeah.
So I did bring it out a bit from this one. So I just lowered it.
Oh, got it.
It does look wide because I tapered it. So it's smaller at the bottom and a little curved at the top. Something I could probably do with the B as well, but I didn't do it here. Just with like the R and the Q. Some of the smaller counters, not the longer ones.
Even if it's making like a little drip, that kind of. You know what I mean? It's like adding like those types of visual cues. I think those are kind of what you're looking for here. And I would also say don't play it safe. Like mess it up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
And get dirty. Anybody else?
I use font self to create an Illustrator for anyone that has.
First, I want to say that this is really cool. And I am a big proponent of like taking things that you already like and sort of mashing it up and giving it a little bit more personality. So I love this kind of thing. I especially love the upside down B, the way it's sort of top heavy. Adds a sense of motion for me, and especially with the slanted crossbar A. The fact, like, just I guess, philosophy-wise, the fact that it's called the atomic groove and it has this like motion in it feels very fitting. And if there was some way you could add a little bit more of that motion, almost like a dance into it, I think that would be really cool. Not that I have any specific ideas.
Sure, no, that makes sense.
The B is the thing that stands out to me. Like it has like when I look at all your letters, the B just pops with personality. And I feel like a couple of your other letters need that personality somewhere. I'm not sure where, but the B just for me like it has all kinds of character. And the A's kind of getting there because it has that little slant on it, right? But then everything else is kind of like you haven't created enough personality in your other letters if the A and the B are going to have that much personality. But yeah, it's cool that you're on the right track.
Right, in the back. What I was going to say is, if you're going to go thick, go thick.
Thick.
I say do another thickness on that, like
Okay.
maybe twice the size a little bit, just for that option. But if you're gonna have thick in that name, you might as well just do it and see how it looks. And I mean, everybody can use a good headline from it.
Righteous, yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Okay, Christy, we got one more.
Yeah, I think this is so fun. I do love the personality, especially in the B. It feels very almost like superhero-y, like comic book a bit. I think I agree with whoever said like really push the personality. I think the Q could even like use even more of a extravagant tail or something, just to give it a little bit of a flair and really make it stand out. But it is really fun, and I think you did a great job in your project.
All right, thank you again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know that guy. Hi.
Who's that?
So, I'll tell you. So my name is Michael Mondragon. I'm a brand designer, I'm a graphic design educator, and I'm Adobe community expert, chapter lead, blah, 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 blah. So I've been doing branding for a long time. I'm super inspired by baseball logos, and it's the only thing I've wanted to do my whole life, and the only thing I can do well. So I had to get really good at it to survive in the freelance world. So I had a client, and it was Night Owl Productions, and in the middle right there is Gino Munoz. And Gino taught at Citrus College in Los Angeles, just outside Los Angeles. And the great thing that he would do is he would teach these great musicians in college, and then they would all graduate, and then he'd hire them all to go sing, dance, do stage productions, and he's a great person. He's also a great musician. So he created this Night Owl Productions, and they were doing like high-end weddings, and they were doing really well. Well, during, this is kind of pre-pandemic, so this branding that I did was after this. So this was their original logo, and it's not a bad logo. If anybody knows, what's going on with Cracker Barrel recently, there's a lot of love in this, and it's not that it's probably just not where they wanted to go. They actually wanted to start marketing themselves to higher paying clients, a lot of corporate events. So they really were trying to get not out of the wedding game, but get more exposure, but also do some bigger events. And they thought that it was time to up their branding. So they didn't have a brand statement, so I helped them create it. So Night Owl Productions provides live music and production to corporate and private clients, in a sophisticated and elegant environment with a flexible and personable voice, helping them feel trusted and special and create memories. So when a brand doesn't have one of these brand statements, it's kind of hard to kind of picture like where they want to go, what they want to do, who they are, what really I'm trying to make visually that's really going to represent them. All right, so these are some of the, they had this behind some of their displays. They also had this orchestra. They also had it up there. I thought that was really, really neat. And I knew that my new branding was going to be on here. So I just started thinking of some different owl stuff. And I don't know if you're familiar or not, but owls are pretty well spoken for in graphic design. Okay, so you're gonna have a lot of competition. Did I mention there's a lot of owls out there? Okay, so you're competing with a lot. And but I started thinking about it a lot harder. Actually, it was a great challenge for me because they all just can't be easy as they. Okay, but one that was on there on the first slide, this is actually by Von Glitchka, and he actually had a really cool thing called Night Owl Society. And it was basically people like ourselves. We were all night owls, and they created a little society of artists to get together. And the one thing that I loved about this was right here. It was that I had Night Owl Productions, so I wanted to owl at night. How do I do it? That's not cheesy, but it's kind of clever. And I thought that was cool, and I was trying to figure that out somehow. So in my brand apprenticeship that I did in Los Angeles, you learn that there's 3 distinct things that need to be in a logo for it to be memorable. This one, for this one, it was education, so you have the crest right there, bartender glasses, pouring drinks, and then the symbol. So it's a very simplified version, but there's a lot going on in that last symbol right there. So you wouldn't catch it if you didn't really look for it. So I was trying to build these things with, usually I do a practice where I go with a client, and in about an hour, I ask them all these questions, and then they whittle it down to what's the most important thing that you want out of this. And with that, I get out a lot of answers that I wouldn't get otherwise. So I started thinking about this, and I tried to incorporate different things. And these are the final marks that I came down to. And eventually, this one on the left was chosen. So I actually showed this about a month ago. And the reason why I'm showing this is I've never been happy with it. And it's one of the things that, the client signed off on it, it's been great, but I always had it in the back of my head that I always knew this could be more. And one of the feedback was that I could have used the moon as one of the eyes, okay? And then when I had it, it was actually sleeping, okay? Or at peace, right? And that was literally mind-blowing to me. Like, I was like, that's what? It's like hidden in plain sight, right in front of me. So not only did it have 3 of those qualities, it actually had 4, because we had the owl, the music conductor, upscale luxury, and then night and moon. It worked out perfectly on the brand itself. But the thing that I'm here to ask you, I missed on the typography. I feel. Maybe I didn't. I'll ask the crowd. But the one thing that I noticed is, were we going to make this Night Owl Productions? The way that it laid out was very difficult. And I didn't know how to do it effectively. I eventually went with a slab serif. And, it was okay. In my opinion, it was okay. But I actually took out productions because it was really hard to put it in there, and it was like at small sizes, it got too small. So again, I've always had that push and pull with typography with this actual mark. And a little bit bigger, fatter. No, yeah, I don't know what it was. So I used Yorkton slab, which was fine for the moment. But then I started thinking about it. I go, maybe I should start putting some different types of fonts in here that had a little bit different characters with this. Maybe that will help kind of visualize it. Maybe he was really going high end, and maybe really getting really in depth. I mean, this is 1931 Rolls Royce. I mean, this, you don't see this type of typography used with a modern brand. But was it too luxury? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But seeing it paired together makes more sense when you kind of see it. Then I started like, well, I want to make it modern, but I'm kind of retro modern, and then I'm just like, you know. Now I'm getting in my head now. I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but I just wanted to put it out to you know, other people out here and see what you think about this. You know, is it going like this? And maybe, you know, I don't know. Or is it going bigger? Making it even more, you know, really going after, like we were talking before about your font, like really, do I make it bigger? I don't know. So this is where I'm going to lay it. I welcome your feedback, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome, thank you, Mike. Anybody like to start the conversation? Casey?
First, I want to say that this logo is amazing, and I feel like I saw like a fourth motif in here that maybe, I don't know, I could be completely off base about it, but the closed eyes of the owl mixed with the like very like tuxedo suit makes me almost sort of think like a butler, like cartoon butlers always have their eyes closed. So I like that there's this fourth element of like premium service to it also. And then I wanted to say about the typography is, I know we're supposed to be going more elegant, more upscale, but I really do miss the more handwritten style of the original logo. So I was thinking maybe you could take a, you know, I think it was the third or fourth to last slide you had one that would kind of, there was a typeface that kind of felt like music notes, and maybe if you could, you know, go with that one because it's so much of a, you know, music-based thing. You could add a little bit of more human variation into it to keep the more personalized, handwritten style in it as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because that was one of the things that they really prided themselves on was, you know, the personalities, because they had a lot of great singers, they had a lot of, you know, just obviously musicians, but they were also like, they would also go through, they'd funnel through. So like, you know, bringing that personality back, and even like a hand-drawn font, they play their instruments with hands, right? So it's like, it kind of ties those two things in. So I like that a lot.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of on the same note. I really love the little kind of curly Q. I think that's really special and sweet. And I guess I didn't see a lot of any like light kind of treatment like that in the typefaces that you were showing. I feel like maybe to tie them together, to keep the typeface as its own like word mark, you don't need the logo, to maybe like use like a really cool scripty like end for the night owl, just to kind of pull together would be kind of cool. But yeah, I feel like maybe bringing in those fine lines into the type treatment somehow could make it a little more cohesive. But it is really fun, and I do like that owl.
Oh, thank you. And that was the whole thing too. It's like I tried to make something unique that was. But yeah, I did not explore enough of those script fonts, and I felt like it was, especially for, again, Night Owl Productions, the way it lays out, that's a lot of, it's like John Hancock.
It's called Spencer Scripts. Don't you remember
Spencer
last
Scripts.
month?
Yeah, of course.
Who was it last month? Is he here?
No, he's not here.
Okay, this will only take an hour.
Okay, please.
Love it. Let's work on it, right? I think, first on the symbol, I don't want to spend too much time. I think you have to do two versions. So the one we're looking at could be the marquee version, the large version, where we can see the full contrast, that we get all the detail, including those fine lines that it's hard to tell, is that a perch or is that like a baton, like he's the actual conductor? But then at reduced sizes, I think there should be one that has thicker lines where it is more symbolic and those details don't get lost. So maybe simplifying where you don't have the buttons or where the, I guess you could call it the beak, the brow and the beak, like that is thicker, and so it won't get muddied. So you might have to redraw a small size version, which I think you could do in 20 minutes. Like you got it. But also, okay, thing number 2. As this all develops, consider taking the mascot or the symbol away from the typographic arrangement. And so it makes it more complex when you hand it off to the client, but this idea that this is your logo, this is your word mark lockup, this is just another identifying symbol. They don't necessarily have to always be compressed together. Now, it would look really cool on those bandstands, or if they have like a big kick drum or something, I don't even know, that you can blow up the mascot like that, and then somewhere else just have the N for the night out. Like, you make a more complicated system, and I know a lot of minor league baseball teams do that, where they'll have the patch, and then they'll have it's like all this different stuff, but it looks like it's drawn by the same hand, so it works together. So we can break it apart. We don't have to have this very kind of, classic like 1960s like corporate identity where this is at the, the 9 o'clock and then the word mark is alongside of it. So that can go. But the last thing, and I totally think you're on the track, is that oftentimes if you match typefaces by the era, they feel cohesive. And right now, you're stepping in it whether you want it to or not. This is Art Deco revival. And you've got some shapes that remind us, these kind of like quarter circle, like rounded corner, or this 1931, that's the Art Deco period. And so you could also experiment with the ones that are more like the Chrysler building, like they kind of, I don't even know what you call that, but where the letter forms themselves have this kind of like quarter circle elements to them. But it's serif, you might say, or it's more like geometric sans. And some of that was, at the time, that was really new. Johnston and Gill coming out of England, like that was modernism, coming from the Art Nouveau, and then you see this like very clean, it was like mind-blowing. So you could run with that here. And also, if you wanted to go with serif, I think you could make a serif typeface, at least just an alphabet for the main word mark, that starts with the bow tie. So that bow tie, if you blow that apart, that's basically your serifs. You've got 2 triangles, or if you turn them, it's kind of like, imagine if you turned the bow tie and then just stretched it, that's the letter I. So what do those, it's like a subliminal cue. If people are seeing those word bindings, it's almost there in the double R, right below it.
Yep.
But if people see that it's the exact same geometry of that bow tie, it'll link visually.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because I was actually, I was trying to do this, but it wasn't working. I actually wanted to make an N and an O out of that. So it's actually that secondary mark, and it was just trying too hard. It actually looked more like Casey's font. It was more like that, and I'm like, now this is just getting further off. But there was something there to it. But I was losing kind of this kind of elegance about it. But again, that's a fantastic idea. Or even doing something with these buttons. I was even thinking about I said I was getting too lost in the weeds. Yeah.
So, sorry, no. I can't get past the geometry. I love the geometry, and when I look at your geometry, you got 2 line thicknesses. You have your really thick, you have your really thin. And you got all these nice curves, and you got some angles in there, and then you got some really nice negative space cutouts. If you were to go in and create a nice, is night owl considered 2 words? Or is it 1 word?
Yeah.
2 words, right? You have your nice, pick either night or owl. I'd pick night and do a nice elegant, geometric, sans, just beautiful, match the shapes you got in there already. Play with that negative space. And then owl, get the thick, you know, because you already got the thick. And again, play with that negative space. I mean, this contrast of night and day, right? And you have it in there, right? You got the black and the white and the moon shapes and everything. And I think it's hard when you're trying to create use an old standard font on a new logo for a company that wants to attract corporate clients. That's the struggle, right? So if you already have all the elements inside of there, I think you just build your shapes, like build your fonts.
Yeah.
And don't rely on what you find, because I think everything's already in there.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you're right about the corporate thing. It's like all I can think about is like how it's going to look on a business card, which is like that's a you know, a branding designer's like lament. It's like, you know, like, oh, and I get out of my head, stop it. You know, like that. Really, that's all I could think about in the end, like what that was going to look like. But
the negative space is great.
Right. And, yeah, it was all the other alternate uses, but I really wanted to nail it down. And actually, you know, like this whole purge thing was I was also trying to make it look like music notes as well. So I was trying to make that kind of element into it. So it was kind of a delicate balance. But again, I was really happy with the way that it came out. But then those little tweaks are actually like it's finally getting to the point where I actually can look at it.
Is this in production now?
So
Version 1 and now this is version 2?
this is my own version. I'm doing a secret version that I'll probably share with them one day. But yeah, I think they're still using the other one at this point.
I really like the mark. Something that I like to try to do in my own work is when I have a mark that's this complex or has so much character, I will most of the time just go with something that's a little bit more basic for supported type. So I would even go with like a more condensed sans serif and kind of leave it at that. Because like Prescott said about having to break them apart, if you wanted one that was more complex as a word mark, then maybe do it that way. But if you needed something to kind of go with it and have a lockup, I would go with something very basic, sans serif, and just let the mark be the mark. You gotta let the best elements shine, and you don't want to take too much away from the best parts. And the owl is obviously the best part of the whole thing. So I like to try to kind of play with that balance and who's the supporter, who's got the shine right now. So, and if you were to go to a script with this, I feel like that would be too much. You would take it too far. And even to do something that's more handmade or handwritten, again, I feel like it would detract from the owl. So the owl's a starting.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of where I was doing. Both elements were fighting with each other, for sure. And, you know, I also didn't want to let go that I actually didn't explore this as far as I could have. But I actually went, that's why I went to that slab serif because it was safe.
And then Night Owl Productions is long. And that's the other thing in branding is long names like that are tough to work with. So simplifying it to Night Owl, and then maybe having another lockup that has productions in it. And if you had a more complex font for Night Owl, and then maybe, again, a more simpler font for productions, that balance might also work too. But again, who's shining and who's not, it's kind of
That makes sense too, because I also got the feedback as well that kind of an interesting type treatment would have been like maybe simplified, but in the O was the owl sitting in the owl, or sitting in that oval, which I thought was kind of very clever as well. Yeah, that's been tremendous feedback. Anybody else?
All right,
cool.
I have a question. It's not just a little owl logo.
Yeah.
What are the lines underneath? They're going this way, the curve line.
So again, it's something that I probably didn't refine, and I wanted it on a purge. I'm also trying to make them into music notes. Again, it kind of because of the balance of it, the way that it came down like that, it needed to balance on something. So I actually felt like I kind of let it go because I was like, if I work this anymore, I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to be, but. The thought was that maybe if you, I think at the beginning of my designs, I turned it over and it was actually like the cleft, you know, like so I was like trying to work it, you know what I mean? So like it worked in there. It was almost kind of like an Easter egg a little bit, but it actually, I just said, you know what, it looks okay. To me, it looked okay. But again, this is why I never could let this out of my head, because it's always, it's been there for like, since 2018.
All right, Em.
I definitely agree with Mike as well. Like the geometry in the logo is like a lot good, and I think that the curves which you have used for the owl and the body extending and making its ears and the word like also symmetric. Like I love it a lot. I just had one question about the final logo. Like if you can just take to the final slide.
Which one?
The end slide, yeah, this one. The final one where it's just the logo.
Oh, this one. No.
Where you can have shown the club name and the
Other one?
yeah, I guess it's at the end. Yeah. Yeah, this one.
Oh, this one.
So I just had one question that you have placed the name below the logo. Have you had a thought that placing it besides the logo so that it will like right now it's taking a lot of space, like it's making a squarish format, but if you place it besides the logo, did you have a thought about it?
Well, and you're right. And again, these have to have different configurations. You could have night, and then owl will be super big, production super small.
Yeah.
So it's like that's where you're just like, this is just the words is a challenge. That's why I was trying. Although if I could lose productions, night owl would work better, but still owl would be hammering over the head. I did try to decide it, and again, it was kind of a similar thing because of just the way that the geometry of this, it felt off balance. So again, it's been in my head for a long time. I've thought through a lot of this, and it's like I just needed some voices in my head, other voices in my head about where I could kind of take this.
I just was curious about the placement. That's why.
Yeah, and I just put this is just an example, so it's like I was just trying to put different fonts that I thought might go well with it, just to see it. But I was wondering if anybody else saw anything in it as well.
And I love the adding of the moon as the eyes of the owl because it is literally unique and it shows that the owl is at peace. So,
Oh, there you go. Perfect. That's even better.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to see an animated version of the look.
And that's what it's always been missing as well, for sure.
I keep seeing the head as the letter O. Like, could you have night going vertically down on one side and then O, the O and at WL? Or is that a little too comical? Or, do you know what I mean? Like the head, like the letter O.
Yeah. Well,
incorporating.
yeah. So like the W O and there's and that's I think that's also what I was trying to do too. I was trying to put the letters into it so you can actually pull it apart. So it is similar to what you're saying.
All right, Jacob.
No, it's completely fine. People call me Jacob when I'm in trouble, so I guess. So one thing I will say, I even kind of like drew out something while you were talking. I just see a lot of empty space. So personally, for me, I would love to see. You want to showcase the owl, correct? Like I would say, for me, I would kind of want to showcase the owl, and I'll make the typography a lot less lighter. For me, if I were to go ahead and do it, I'll put night owl in that little square, productions, smaller, because you have kind of two places to work with. That's something I would kind of do because it makes it super clean, super seamless. You put it in the middle of a business card, and it's simple enough that you can do that. And the owl just is showcasing there. Or you can make it a little bit more funner, and I'm not saying it's not fun already, but I would even say maybe do the crescent moon within the O in the owl, or just block out that O and put like night owl, or even that crescent moon inside the G at night. and kind of have that element in it, and again, keep it really thin writing, and still stick it on a corner on that side, you're pretty much solid there.
I love that. I love that.
All right, Mike. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. So if you got on our Eventbrite, you can win this book that's been sitting over here this whole time. So let me. Got the wheel of names, so I'm going to shuffle a few times here. If you signed up twice for two, you get two entries.
I can too.
You gonna see him?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Congratulations.
He'll be alright, yeah. Do it again.
Are you sure?
He'll be alright, yeah. Yeah. I'll let him know.
Here we go. Yeah, that's you. You gets it. All right, so thank you. We are back here September 25th as part of Phoenix Design Week. That's it, right there. So we're gonna have our Eventbrite. It'll be up on Tuesday, where it's actually switching over. It's a whole thing, but we'll have it up there as soon as possible. If you signed up, you're on our mailing list, and we'll get it all together. But please, this is how you can get all the information. Please follow our Instagram. This is how we put out a lot of our blasts, a lot of information out here, and we really appreciate all the support that Phoenix has given us. And we appreciate it so much. Thank you for being out here. Give yourselves a hand. Come on. Yeah. So thank you again. We'll see you on September 25th. Thank you for coming out.